Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's June 2nd, 2016. The big news story this morning is the cause of Prince's death. They're saying opioid overdose. Later today, the NBA Finals will begin. It's June 2nd, 2016. I made a video the day Prince died. And in that video, which I'll link in the description, I show two important things. One, I show how I predicted in February that Prince might die soon based on the death of Vanity before the 58th Grammys. Vanity and Prince have a lot of parallels in history. They also have a lot of parallels in numerology and gematria, the numerical languages that the elites use that I expose on this channel. I also talked about in that video how Prince's death coming on April 21st, typically the 111th day of the year, connected to the NBA Finals. And on the day of his death, ESPN all day talking about his March 3rd attendance at the Warriors-Thunders basketball game in Oakland that ended up being the Western Conference Finals. Anyhow, think about it. Here we are, day one of the NBA Finals, and now we get the announcement of what caused Prince's death. This is exactly what I was saying on April 21st. This story definitely connected to the NBA Finals. So we're going to talk about Prince's death first, and then we're going to move on to the topic of yesterday's shooting at UCLA, which was a hoax. Yesterday I made a video on that explaining the parallels between Los Angeles and Minnesota right now, how yesterday's shooting hoax was also a tribute to the NBA Finals. Today, the update in the story is that the shooter also killed someone in Minnesota before going down to Los Angeles and killing people at the campus. Minnesota, LA, just like I talked about yesterday, just like I talked about with Prince. The Los Angeles Lakers, originally from Minnesota. We'll get to it. Let's just start with the Prince. If you haven't seen this video from April 21st, again, I'm going to link it in the description. Please watch it. Great video. So here we go. This was the CNN front page. I took the screen capture. Cause of death. Prince playing, drummer in the background. You see the drum kit with the third eye. The third eye symbolism is here for a reason in this shot, this day. I'll also let you know that the word drummer has gematria of 38, just like Prince, just like death, just like Chanhassen, just like Minnesota, just like Oregon, where they say the doctor was from that gave him these opioids that killed him. Completely coded here. So, the headline begins with the word cause, and I'm quite certain that they used the word cause because it has gematria 49. The word revelation equals 49. Revelation is the book of prophecy. The United States, the original capital, Philadelphia, is named from the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy. The book I'm writing right now shows how the Masons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, all throughout history, they have used Revelation, the book of prophecy, to code history. And it encompasses a lot, even including the deaths of celebrities. Prince, in 2009, on the Tavis Smiley program, said, all we can do in this world is go by prophecy. Nothing else matters. Those are Prince's words. Bringing this back to the NBA Finals, they made a big deal about him visiting or attending the Warriors and Thunders game on March 3rd in Oakland. That game was 49 days before his death. And he was at the Warriors game. They were the home team. I just want you to realize Warriors in gematria equals 49, just like Revelation. The Warriors are originally from Philadelphia, the city named from Revelation. They moved to San Francisco, then Golden State. Revelation. That was also a span of 1 month and 18 days. The word death in Jewish gematria equals 118. He would die that many days later. With regards to the phrase third eye has gematria 49. Here we have the drummer kit with the third eye on it, you know. These symbols, this language of numbers, this stuff is important in esoteric studies, which is not normal for us in the mainstream. And I didn't grow up learning about this knowledge. I just found it through research. And now I put the skills to the test, and I've shown what has been going on in this nation, in this world, for all of recorded history. So anyway, they're blaming opioids as the cause of death, something that they've been talking about. Opioid has the gematria of 41, just like the date he died on. Again, he was at the Golden State game. Golden State in gematria equals 41. So does Kobe Bryant. The reason the Warriors, Golden State, and Kobe Bryant are connected is through Kobe Bryant's father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, who was drafted 41 years ago into the NBA. He was the 14th overall pick. Think about how the number 14 is the reflection of 41. When you write out 14 as a word in Summit, it sums to 41, just like Golden State, Kobe Bryant. Here we are 41 years later. 41, a very special number to this nation. USA equals 41. 41 is the 13th prime number. The nation began with 13 colonies. The day Prince died, April 21st, typically the 111th day of the year. The NBA Finals equals 111. The point I was making when he died, saying, remember this story when the NBA Finals roll around? NBA Finals will be the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The player on the Cavs, the star of the NBA, LeBron James, his nickname is King. The word King has gematria 41. LeBron James is in his 13th season, 41, the 13th prime. Big numbers. If you haven't seen my work on the NBA playoffs, I show how every game is scripted to the point, to the shot. You know, just a few games ago, the Cavs went 13 for 41 from three-point land. It's all a joke. This year, because Prince died on April 21st in a leap year, it was technically the 112th day of the year. This year will also be the 112th World Series. I'm sure there'll be parallels to the World Series when it rolls around. Houston in gematria equals 112. They hosted the recent college basketball championship on April 4th. 112 is also the alt dialing code for 911. This detail came out that Prince made 4 911 calls. The first was October 23rd, 2013. The last was the day he died. 911 days, 4 911 calls. This is what I mean when I say the powers that be are contriving stories by the numbers. And my big clue into this reality was on September 11th, 2001, when there was this terror attack, false flag on 9/11. See my work on 9/11. Lots of important information. If you write out the word 33, it sums to 156. The number 911 is the 156th prime number. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers, their name gematria equals 156. Again, it connects to 33 as well. The World Trade Centers lasted for 33 years, 1968 to 2001. Notice they post this, CNN at 110, Minnesota equals 110. Not a coincidence. 110, a special number. I just brought up the World Trade Centers. They were 110 stories tall. Osama bin Laden equals 110. Rockefeller equals 110. It was the Rockefeller family who proposed and approved the project. The 49th governor of New York at the time was Nelson Rockefeller, who approved it. Twin Towers equals 49. Revelation, prophecy, important numbers all throughout history. CNN, in talking about the opioid, they refer to it as a wonder drug for abuse. Wonder drug has gematria 57. Prince just died at age 57, like Vanity. With regards to 57 in championships, remember I'm saying this is connected to the NBA Finals, possibly the World Series, maybe even the Super Bowl. Look at this. When you write out 57, it sums to 131. We just saw Steph Curry, the star player of the Warriors, go 131-0 in MVP voting. What a joke. Championship equals 131. Super Bowl equals 131. World Series in gematria equals 57. This year, 57 days after the World Series, Dave Henderson died at age 57, former baseball player, played last for the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royals. If you haven't seen my work on the World Series, it had all these parallels with the royal family and the ages of the people in the royal family. Prince died on the Queen's birthday. She turned 90. Prince had birth numerology of 90. 57, 90, the difference is 33 years. On the day Prince died, the young baby Prince George turned 33 months old. The word George equals 57. The only way all of this is possible is with scripting and planning long in advance. And the message I'm trying to get through to people is we are living in a scripted reality. The powers that be have mapped this stuff out very long ago. All this time they've been building the world around us, including the celebrities, the dates of sports games, by the numbers. This is an old world practice still going on in the present. My book shows how from the time of the American Revolution forward, everything has been done this way. And really, it even goes back before that, but it's just so much information to show it from the American Revolution forward to the present. You know, it's an overwhelming study in itself. Again, Prince died at his home in Chanhassen. Chanhassen, Psalms 238, like Minnesota. They're calling his home the new Graceland, where Elvis died. Graceland 38. Again, the doctor who gave him the opioids, 38. Oregon's also the 33rd state. The name of his home, Paisley, has gematria of 33. But just look at all this 38 here. You know, Prince 38, death 38. Today we get the reporting cause of death. Prince's home on the 44th parallel, the 93rd meridian, very special numbers, related numbers. The word kill equals 44. Today, June 2nd, 2016, a date with 44 numerology, the cause of death. I've been talking about the significance of the finals starting today, the Warriors in their 44th season of being in Golden State. Again, Prince was at that Golden State game, Oracle Arena. Oracle having to do with future telling, prophecy. Oracle equals 54. The Warriors lost after their 54th straight win at home by the numbers. Did a video the day they lost showing how the Cavs also got their 54th win. And the Cavs defeated the team that won the NBA championship over the Celtics 58 years earlier, a very special number in sports right now. The Celtics upset the Warriors streak the same day the Cavs defeated the Hawks, who in history played in the NBA championship 58 years earlier. The Hawks defeating the Celtics. The only team to beat the Celtics in a decade, where the Celtics went to a championship for 10 years straight. Besides the word kill, the word clock has gematria 44. A lot of this has to do with killing with numbers over time. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. Again, died on the 44th parallel. The word time in Jewish gematria equals 144. So does the word light. Think about time, light, the sun. These are some of the most important concepts in our world, the world we live in. Also in a day, with regards to 144, 24 hours, 60 minutes, 24 times 60 is 1,440. You know, 144, time. 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours in the evening, 12 times 12, 144. 12 months in a year, the square root of 144 is 12. In Jewish gematria, killer also equals 144. You know, time, it's a real killer. The word cancer equals 44. A lot of things that kill, deadly, gematria 44. Genocide equals 44. Medicine also equals 44. Keep in mind, medicine can kill. Killer in simple English gematria also sums to 67. In the video I made in February after the death of Vanity, I said Prince better watch out. He has this 67 marking on him. All the celebrities dropping dead right now at this moment in history. This is when I was speaking in February. I was saying everybody's got the 67 right now. Prince goes on to die 67 days from Vanity. You know, here it is. Vanity died February 15th. Prince died April 21st. Blood sacrifice 67, satanic 67. The Masonic Zionist Jesuit order, it is a very selfish order. Selfishness is what Satanism boils down to, essentially. A real sickness. The opposite of the golden rule. Prince also died in Carver County, CC 33, but Carver County also having this gematria of 57, you know. He died in the time of a full moon. In certain parts of the world, moon has gematria 57. Every 57 years, the moon does a perfect reset in the night sky. You know, he died 3 days after Kobe Bryant retired, and I'll show you what's up here with this. Los Angeles Lakers equals 58. Freemasonry equals 58. Purple Rain, Prince's most famous album, equals 58. That album released June 25th, 1984 on George Orwell's birthday. Michael Jackson would later die by the numbers in history on that same date. Special date. Special book 1984. United States of America equals 84. That book was very much a foretelling of what was to come in this nation. The date Kobe retired was a date with 58 numerology. In Kobe's final game where he scored 60, it was his 58th point that gave the Lakers the lead for the first time in the game. If you haven't seen my video on Kobe's 60-point performances, I made 3 of them because there's so much coded into it. It syncs up with the death of Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins before the season, Michael Jordan, what was going on with the Warriors this year, his father, Joe Jellybean Bryant. There's a lot that's riddled into these stories, including the death of Prince. I now have, 6 videos on the death of Prince, and there's still more to cover. But Purple Rain, Los Angeles Lakers, Freemasonry, all 58, very special number to the Freemasons. NASA, the space agency, was established in 58. Almost every astronaut to travel to space has been a Freemason. Date Kobe retired, 58 numerology. Now, a lot of people have pointed out Prince's song, Let's Go Crazy. It came out on the date July 18th, 1984. Just after Purple Rain. This single came out by itself. July 18th can be written 18/7, 187, like the homicide code. And in a moment, we're going to talk about July 18th in California history. But the date that this single released was a date with 38 numerology, like Prince, 47 numerology, like Pop. Prince died 47 days before his June 7th birthday. Minnesota also has gematria 47. Very special number to the Masons and Zionist Jews, 47. That date is the 199th day of the year, which is the 46th prime number. Vanity in gematria equals 46. Sacrifice equals 46. Vanity died on the 46th day of the year, February 15th. The date of the 58th Grammys. She died just before the 58th Grammys, all these 58 connections. There's the Purple Rain gematria right there. Here's Purple Rain, June 25th, George Orwell's birthday. So anyway, this release date hold on, I feel like there's something here else I was supposed to tell you. Oh, here we go. The song, it's called Let's Go Crazy, right? That came out on July 18th. Everyone's looking at this lyric. And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor. The reporting was that Prince died in the elevator of his home, right? So a lot of people right away thought about that lyric. Let me show you what I noticed. Let's Go Crazy has gematria 52. They say Prince was 5'2". The word prophecy equals 52 the small way. Prince said that all we can go by is prophecy. Here it is in the title of this song that connects to his death years later. That lyric, go crazy, punch a higher floor, has gematria of 144. So does the name Prince Nelson. Again, we talked about how he died on the 44th parallel, the connections to time. These are things I've talked about with other musicians, other history. This is what goes on. This is how long things are planned in advance. Think about it. 1984 to 2016. Nearly 32 years. So anyway, July 18th. We're about to transition to the fake shooting at UCLA. Here's a little transition through Prince and the history of fake shootings in this country, part of the book I'm writing right now. On January 14th, 1984, that year, Ray Kroc, who made McDonald's this crazy company, he passed away. The date he died was an interesting date. It was a date with numerology of 118. Again, death equals 118. It was also a date with 99 numerology, and he's from Illinois. Illinois equals 19. If you write out the word 13, it sums to 99. Remember when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose, born on September 9th, in 13 seconds? Jose equals 13, 9-9 birthday. When you write out 13, it equals 99. Sports, scripted, to the second, to the point, to the minute, from UFC to NBA to NFL. You don't know until you study this language and what's been going on in history. But anyway, think about McDonald's. Their golden arch, M, that's the 13th letter. McDonald's is headquartered in Illinois, in Oak Park, Illinois, where Ray Kroc was born. 187 days after the death of Ray Kroc would be the San Ysidro McDonald's massacre, the worst shooting in the history of the nation, until the Luby's massacre 7 years later, and then the Virginia Tech massacre. Both shootings, all three of these shootings centered around the same numbers. But check this out. Ray Kroc dies January 14th. The first place he ever opened a restaurant was San Bernardino, which in gematria equals 114, kind of like the date he died on. McDonald's 1399. Where McDonald's is headquartered, Oak Brook, Illinois, has gematria of 187. From the day Ray Kroc died until July 18th, 1984, 187 days. And on this date, the worst mass homicide from a shooting at a McDonald's on July 18th, which can be written 18/7, like 187. You see what I'm saying? How scripted is that? How scripted is that? They said the shooter was a 41-year-old, 41, the 13th prime. He shoots up the McDonald's, the M. San Ysidro Massacre, 99. Date Ray Kroc died on, 99 numerology. Illinois, 99, 1399. You know? They also coded the number 144 into this title. Just got done talking about that. When you read my book, you're going to go through all of history and see how it's all been scripted, named, dated by the same numbers 1,000,000 times over. Something that still goes on to the day. Something I've been harping on about since 2013, and just watching all these people die by the numbers, watching all these rigged sports games by the numbers. Anyway, there's a history of fake shootings. When there was that LAX shooting not long ago, the shooter's name in gematria summed to 187. Yesterday, another shooting in Los Angeles, again on June 1st, 1/6, like the 16 championships the Lakers have won. Yesterday's video, I talk about the parallels with UCLA and Villanova. Check this out. They just put out this detail today saying that the gunman had a kill list. Kill list in gematria, the number that really stands out, 41. All of these numbers connect to the nation. America, the small way is 32, the big way 50. Think about 50 states. The date the United States declared its independence, July 4th, 1776. That's a date with numerology of 32 as well as 104, like 10-4 message received. Just like what they coded into kill list here. And in the story, his kill list was found at his home in Minnesota, where a woman was supposedly murdered connected to that kill list. And again, yesterday, I just drew these parallels without even knowing the story. But this is what I mean when I say I figured out how they're scripting, how they're building these stories. This is truly what the madmen, the tyrants are doing. The woman who died, she was killed in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Brooklyn Park has gematria of 59, just like kill in Jewish gematria. Remember yesterday they said this happened at Bolter Hall, having gematria of 47 and 110. Minnesota has this same gematria. Here's what else they said. They gave us the name of the victim and the shooter. I'll show you how they tie in. The victim's name is Mainak Sarkar. And, for the average American who can hardly read, they're probably trying to sound it out, and they're probably going, maniac? Maniac psycho? And the powers that be, that's probably why these words are as they are. It kind of does look like maniac. And it looks like a complete bullshit name, just like all these names always do in the stories, from the shooter to the victims to the witness. The names are always part of the coding. Look at this name. It has gematria 45. What did I say yesterday? I said the numbers I talked about in yesterday's videos would be the names for the shooter and the victim. I talked specifically about how UCLA defeated Villanova 45 years ago. Exactly what I talked about in the video yesterday. UCLA won in 1971 over Villanova 45 years ago. This year, the day before the championship, a Philadelphia train wreck, also another hoax story connected to sports. It hit a backhoe. Backhoe equals 45. Then Villanova avenges their loss from 45 years earlier over North Carolina, the team in baby blue, just like UCLA. We're talking about basketball dynasty schools. It's just always a joke. Maniac, 49 gematria, like prophecy, what they love to code from. 68, a number connected to death. Caskets go 6 feet deep or 8 feet long. There might be a riddle here for more future assassinations. I'm saying there's a lot of parallels this year to 1968, something I've been talking about for months. Barack Obama, Donald Trump have lots of 68 coding in them. In 68, Bobby Kennedy, running for president, and Martin Luther King Jr. were assassinated. You can draw the parallels there between Obama and Trump. Two men who've gotten a lot of headlines in the time of the Obama presidency. It was Trump who started the birther argument. Birther equals 44. Obama, the 44th president. The victim is said to be a professor. They said he's 39 years old. They love that number, 39 books in the Old Testament. They said his name was William S. Klug. Gematria of 59, like kill, like the other woman dead, also connected to this killer supposedly in Minnesota. Both the names William, the small way, and big way are just like murder. They said he was a professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering, a phrase with gematria of 223 for Masonic, for the synagogue of Satan, another number that just gets coded again and again and again. When you read my book, that number is going to come up at least 1,000 times. This is how they do it. It's the Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, coding all through history. Can't say it enough. The witnesses yesterday in the early reporting, they made me laugh. They said one person's name was Teddy Matix. And just look at that name. Doesn't that name just spell fucking bullshit? Who the hell is named Teddy Matix? Nobody. Just like all of these names are bogus. Teddy Matix, 45, again. 135 also stands out in Revelation, the book of prophecy. This is the number coded for the key of David, which is about bringing about prophecy. The verse about Philadelphia is also the verse that talks about the key of David. The city of Philadelphia was established in history on a date with numerology of 135. The madmen, this is what they work from. Revelation, it's their playbook. They are contriving prophecy, doing it on the daily. The other witness they had was Jason Law in LA, right? Jason Law in LA. Jason in simple English gematria equals 59. Jason Kill, Friday the 13th. Age 33, Jason Law. In the same article, they give us this nice shot of the police car that has a 666 on the top. Or is that a 999? Either way, we know what they were going for. And let me remind you, the word officer, when broken down, begins with 666. The three letters that break down to 6 in Pythagorean gematria are F, the 6th letter, O, the 15th, 1 plus 5 is 6, X, the 24th, 2 plus 4, 6. Think about XXX, 666. There's a reason for all of this. And then, of course, yesterday, Adam Silver, the Zionist Jew who replaced David Stern, the Zionist Jew, he had to come out yesterday and say he swears the NBA isn't rigged. Well, remember, the Jews are liars. In their religion, they are told to lie to people who aren't Jewish. You know, this is what is instructed in their book. Bava Kama 113a says it's okay to lie to people who aren't Jewish. The word dishonest equals 113. The word mainstream equals 113. The Jews control the mainstream media. You know, people want to live with their head in the clouds. Time to wake up. There's a reason Jews have been kicked out of almost every country on the planet over time. And you're learning that reason right now. This is what these people do. I was laughing because this article all day had 119 shares. All Seeing Eye equals 119. Star of David equals 119. They say in that McDonald's massacre, when the shooter, the 41-year-old, came through the door, the first person he shot was a woman in her left eye. Might make you think of Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Left eye equals 33. One eye, all-seeing eye. Yeah, the NBA is definitely rigged. It's rigged to the point. It's rigged to the number of shots. It's rigged way more than anyone knew until I came along and showed how it's been done all this time. And, you know, even as clearly as I show it, with the undeniable proof, the example after example, you know, people, they still want to dismiss it. You know, how many things have I predicted in the last year? You remember the night of the Alamo Bowl, where Oregon lost to Texas Christian University 47-41 in the monster comeback? And then that same night, a federal standoff started in Oregon. Oregon lost with 41 points. I predicted that the standoff would last 41 days. It lasted exactly 41 days. How did I do that? Because the Alamo lasted 13 days. 41, the 13th prime. Alamo Bowl, 41 points. You see? This is what they do. Sports, news, it's all scripted. NCAA, professional, it's all rigged by the numbers. Undeniable. You know, go back and look at everything I predicted. See how I predicted that the Super Bowl would be Broncos over Panthers months before the playoffs even began. How I predicted there'd be a Black Panthers tribute at halftime. The only way I'm doing all this is by understanding how they're scripting. Once you understand the script, you see how redundant these people are. That's why the people who follow my channel, who follow this blog, they're able to figure out things without even listening to me do the work. They've learned the skills, they're applying it, they're making the same connections. You learn the language, you'll see the same thing I do. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.